All right, everybody, welcome back for another deep dive.
Yeah, hey everyone.
Today we are looking at collaborative learning,
Mhm.
and we're going to be pulling from a knowledge organizer
Right.
as well as an example online document editing session. And I thought a good way to think about this is
Okay.
like if you and your friends were all online building a giant Lego structure together,
Oh, cool.
right? Like, so you've got everybody's adding their own little pieces
Yeah,
and building it up together. And that's kind of what we're going to be looking at today.
I like that.
And just to give you a little taste before we jump in, there's an interesting moment in this document where somebody wants to put penguins into a desert habitat.
Oh, wow.
So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So let's take a look first at this knowledge organizer and just kind of get a lay of the land here.
Sure.
So, we've got some terms that I think are pretty familiar to most people. Collaborate,
Right.
e-document, edit, comment, reviewing comments, all very familiar terms. But one that I thought was kind of interesting that it popped up in here was spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, when we think of spreadsheets,
Yeah.
I think of like, numbers and things like that.
Right.
But actually, people use spreadsheets collaboratively
Absolutely.
for all kinds of projects.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a really versatile tool for sharing information and, collecting data from different people.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not just about numbers anymore.
Definitely. And so that leads us into this online document editing session that we're going to look at.
Okay.
And so what we have here is a group of people who are working on a document about animals that live in the desert.
Cool.
And it's interesting because we have the timestamps of when things are happening.
Yeah.
So we can really see how quickly this unfolds.
It's funny because looking at those timestamps really made me think about how online collaboration is so fast-paced, right?
Right?
It's this rapid fire back and forth. And I mean, that's great for efficiency. But it also makes you realize how important clear communication is.
Absolutely.
And, online etiquette, because one little misunderstanding can really send things off track.
Right. Yeah. It's so easy to misinterpret tone and things like that
Exactly.
when you're just reading text on a screen.
Exactly.
So let's jump into some of the actual back and forth here.
Okay, let's do it.
So we see right away somebody adds Bactrian camels
Okay, make out.
to the list, which,
Yeah, those are definitely desert animals.
classic desert animal, right?
Yeah.
But then somebody else chimes in and says,
Oh, here we go.
emperor penguins.
Wait a minute.
And so
Penguins in the desert.
are there penguins in the desert? I'm trying to picture that.
I mean, I'm picturing some very sunburned penguins right now.
Yeah, right? Like, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
So, of course, somebody is quick to jump in and say,
Right, because this is collaborative.
right, this is a team.
Yeah.
They say penguins actually live in Antarctica, which
So that's
is
very different climate.
a very different place from the desert.
Yeah.
And so, it's funny because it's like a silly little detail, right?
Right.
But it really highlights how these different perspectives and the willingness to kind of,
To kind of, disagree respectfully.
disagree respectfully.
Yeah, and point out potential errors.
Right, and catch things that, if you were working on this by yourself,
Right.
you might just totally miss.
Yeah, you might just be so focused on, the content that you're writing that you don't even realize that you've made a little slip up like that.
Exactly. And it also made me think about, like, how much I love working with editors.
Oh, yeah, editors are amazing.
Because, I can write something.
They catch all those little things.
And I think it's perfect.
Right.
And you get a fresh pair of eyes on it, and they're like, no.
You missed this, you missed that.
You need to
And they make it so much better.
change this. Yeah, and it's so helpful.
It's so true.
So it's kind of like that on a bigger scale.
Yeah, it's like having a whole team of editors all working together to make sure that the final product is the best it can be.
Exactly. And so it's not just the content itself, though, right?
Right.
Because then the group starts talking about things like the background they want to use for the document and the font, and.
Yeah. Does anyone else get kind of like fixated on those details
Oh, yeah.
when they're working on something?
Big time.
Like I can spend way too much time picking out the perfect font.
Same here.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, this one's too serious.
Right. Or this one's too playful.
Right. This one's too whatever. And
Yeah, exactly. And, it's funny because those little details, they might seem insignificant,
Right.
but they can actually have a big impact,
Yes.
on the overall feel of a project.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like, think about it. A well-chosen background
Yeah.
and font can make a document more readable. It can
Right.
be more engaging.
Yeah.
It can even, I think, influence the team dynamics a little bit.
Oh, that's interesting.
Like maybe a fun font lightens the mood and encourages people to be more creative.
Right. Or Very formal font makes people want to be more serious.
Exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, never underestimate the power of visuals, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I never thought about it that way.
No.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I guess as we kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
what are our kind of big takeaways here?
Yeah. What have we learned?
So, you know, I think we see that collaborative learning is really all about using technology
Right.
to work together,
Yeah.
share ideas,
Mm-hmm.
and give each other constructive feedback.
Yes, definitely.
And I think it's really cool how these online tools offer such amazing speed and flexibility.
Right. You can collaborate with anyone, anywhere.
Right?
But that also means that, clear communication and online etiquette are so important
Absolutely.
because things can get lost in translation very easily.
Totally. And don't underestimate the power of those visuals.
Yeah, the fonts, the backgrounds, all that stuff, it matters.
So now I want to leave you with something to think about.
Yeah.
Think about your own collaborative experiences,
Mm-hmm.
particularly online,
Yeah.
and ask yourself, what makes some projects really click
Right.
and others just kind of fizzle?
Yeah. Why do some collaborations work really well and some just don't?
Right. And also, how do you handle those disagreements or differing opinions?
Oh, that's a good one.
Because, I think, like, with that penguin debate,
Yeah,
sometimes those clashes can actually lead to something better.
absolutely.
So keep learning, keep collaborating, and we'll catch you in the next deep dive.
See you later, everybody.